How did we get here? Well, let's start at the beginning. The beginning of Fufu's story, that is. Let's witness this tale's unfolding. It all began with a rather uncommon sight. A closed paper box, looking very much normal at first sight, was floating in the vast space. Asteroids, stars and planets seemed to dwarf it, but our little box was floating in their midst as if it was just like them. From the nothingness of space, it had transported itself into an ocean. Maybe, if the fish had been familiar with basic physics, they would have wondered how that little box withstood the crushing pressure of the sea without even a dent, and even seemed to stay dry. Switching scenes again, the box was now in the middle of a rainstorm, laying on the wet grass. There was nothing with a heartbeat to be found, just the serene sounds of the rain hitting the top of the box, and the grass dancing quietly in the howling wind. For the box, it had felt like an infinity, but for you and me, it had only been a few seconds before it finally arrived on Earth. Laying on a quiet road, the box did what it had been doing for all of the eons it had been around. Nothing. Finally, a shadow crept closer, probably wondering what's in the box. After all this time, a living being had found the strange box. All of a sudden, eyes appeared from inside of it. "Hi!" the eyes inside the box said to the shadow. "You're a human. It's nice to meet you. I've been inside this box for, let's just say, a very long time." The shadow had taken one step back after seeing the eyes, but after hearing the voice, the shadow seemed to feel comfortable enough to move a little closer again. "You see, the box and I traveled through a lot of different places and timelines. Or maybe we didn't. That is the curse one of your kind has burdened me with. I am Schrödinger's cat, the hypothetical cat, which may be considered simultaneously both alive and dead. I'm basically a thought experiment come to life. Or not! I'm telling you this because I cannot open or leave this box myself. To be free, I require one of the descendants of my creator to acknowledge my existence once and for all by opening this box. Would you do that for me? Would you set me free?" The shadow didn't hesitate. The shadow's arms reached for the box, but before they could come any closer, the eyes staring with impatience stopped them. "Wait! You should only open this box if you know how I got here. It is not by chance after all. You're kind, immediately trying to open this box without knowing the consequences, just because I asked you to. You deserve the truth." And so, the voice from inside the box met the gaze of the shadow and told the story of how they had found each other. "It feels like an eternity being stuffed in this box. I've died infinite deaths, and yet I've never died. While my body was imprisoned, at least my mind was free. To a degree, at least. Sometimes I felt imprisoned even in my own thoughts. I imagined so many lives, so many realities. My freedom to think was cruel. Imagining freedom and not having it is so much worse than never knowing freedom at all. However, memories still continue to haunt me. Memories of a happy life on Earth as a black cat, with humans taking care of me and us sharing the love for each other's company. Once, when I was trapped all alone in space, an unexpected visitor appeared. It was a being with long white hair and black, rotating eyes, which seemed to devour you. Those eyes were sad, however. She was a black hole named Vishia, meeting me in a form reminding me so much of the humans I craved to see again. Vishia was hunting a red-eyed entity, which had murdered her when she was a sun and turned her into an all-destroying black hole. But she had found happiness on Earth, almost forgetting about her hunt. Until one day, a voice in her head became too loud to bear. As Vishia snapped and was about to destroy Earth, she was banished into my realm, a different dimension created by the mind of humans. Being here, she also realized that the entity she believed to be hiding among the stars had been inside her all along. It had become her singularity, the reason for her constant hunger for destruction. Because of that, because of Ishia unable to live with herself like this and unable to accept a reality in which her newborn body had been used for destruction and eradicating life, she asked me, with tears blacker than the night, if I could separate her from the red-eyed entity. She asked me if I could kill her. And so, I did. Vishia and the twisted singularity were separated. Instead of Ishia's heart, I held the red-eyed entity. Red tears dripped down the eyeball. Meanwhile, Ushia had lost her previous form and had become the size of a small bell, like the kind humans would put on their cat's collar. When I had thrusted my claws into Vishia, nothing, not even a black hole, was able to pull me from inside the box and separate me from it. It did leave me, however, with a void-corrupted arm. I brought my promise to Vishia. She had wanted to become a sun again and eradicate the red-eyed entity, but instead, I preserved them both as a part of me and obtained their abilities. The red-eyed entity was the reason Vishia was able to traverse through space and time freely, and now I could do so as well. Meanwhile, Ushia, the black hole, gave me the ability to change my appearance, make parts of the galaxy a part of my body, as well as turn the corrupting void into my tool. While I was finally able to escape the dimension in which I'd been imprisoned for an eternity, I was still cursed to remain in my box. And through my travels, finally I met you, a human, the only being able to free me from the curse of being a thought experiment of your kind, the only one who can allow me to be alive. So, what is your decision? After all this, do you still want to open it? The shadow hesitated. Then they stepped forward, reaching for the box, and opened it. The eye stopped peeking. I remembered! I haven't introduced myself yet. I am Fufu. Fufu. The last laugh you will hear is me. And now, be my guest.